welcome back to Company Growth Partner. We are so glad that you are joining us for another conversation about business and about our strategies and advice for coaching businesses in particular. I'm Jayson, I'm a branding specialist and digital marketer. And
Hey guys, my name is Matt, and I'm a revenue operations specialist and media buyer with a Facebook advertising portfolio of $7.8 million. Welcome back to Company Growth Partner.
thank you for joining us. We are going to discuss some trends in coaching today and the importance as a coach and of running a coaching business, the importance of defining what it is that you want. One thing that, Matt, you were saying you wanted to cover right off the bat was the fact that a lot of coaches, especially those who are in the earlier stages of their business, they often want more freedom and they might need, without knowing it, leaner operations. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so usually what happens, right? You start your coaching business, and once you see, proof of concept, so you're making money, you have clients, and things are looking like pretty good. Usually, the next logical step from there, in some coaches' eyes, is actually, oh yeah, let's scale up like crazy and let's make a lot of money. But then, many, many times, and there are coaches who are first time business owners. There are coaches who are not first time business owners. It really depends. More often than not, what ends up happening is you have this operational mess, and you really have to think about like how you want to structure your coaching business, because sometimes having leaner operations, so like a smaller team and less going on within the business, is going to help, because it's going to have a positive impact on your profit margins.
So, to your point, I mean, I've got the note here. You mentioned earlier, coaching really is, I mean, it's 80% profit margin. That's that business.
That's the goal. That's the
Yeah.
goal, right? Because sometimes, and again, like if we're talking about trends, you know, there's like this whole idea of, yeah, coaching is a super profitable business. Yeah, if you make it profitable. And it's super important to ensure you have all the bits and pieces in place in order to achieve that. And actually, it doesn't really matter whether you want to have a larger operation or a leaner operation. You still want to aim for an 80% profit margin, because that's the whole idea, right? You want to have the cash, because that cash can go somewhere else, right? Depending on like what you want to do as a coach.
Of course. Yeah. And I mean, that then I guess is a beautiful segue into what we also wanted to discuss, which is the importance of a coach who's running a business, especially the importance of that coach defining what it is that they want for their business, right? What kind of coaching business do they want to operate? That definition is super important, right? Like we've talked about the fact that a lot of work-life balance themed style offers are on the rise right now, targeted to these coaches, because in part, most coaches are looking for a little more freedom and flexibility, like your earlier point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I can give you tons of examples, but I'll just share I'm not going to mention the person's name, but the person's a fitness coach, okay? And he's been targeting women, I believe, above the age of 40, right? And that's been his business for a long time. Like he's been doing it for like decades, right? And now they're about to have a baby. And there's a lot going on, because you have to jump on coaching calls, maybe you have group calls, you have one-to-ones, there's a lot going on. And some coaches start to realize that, you know what, I love doing this and I love you guys, but in reality, I want to get my time back, because I'm giving a lot of my time to you guys, but then that actually comes at the expense of my lifestyle, and perhaps I want to make some changes in order to make sure that whatever is happening to me as a coach, it actually fits my new lifestyle more. And also, like whatever happened during COVID, I think that had a major impact on, a lot more people are going remote. I know that some coaches are doing like in-person stuff like events and whatnot, but but a lot of people want to move outside of the United States. Like that's like another trend that is happening. More and more and more and more and more people are moving. Thailand has new visa options for people who want to move here. So again, there's a lot going.
Yeah, and it's important in that for that exact reason, it's massively important that these coaches do get very specific about what it is that they want for their business, because undoubtedly they're consuming a lot of content that's telling them how to achieve maybe a smaller operation that allows for more flexibility and freedom, right? So that they can be with their families. But they're maybe also seeing content that's skewing them towards a version of things that says they can scale their business like crazy, super fast, that they can, massively impact their business within a little bit of time. But the reality of those types of offers is that it would require a lot more input from the coach themselves, so long as the offer is being honest about that, I guess.
Yeah, in reality, and we've seen this happening before, right? Where, there's a successful offer, it does well, but in reality, the person who's running the business doesn't have enough business experience to manage such a massive, uh, you know, like there's multiple team members and there's like, finance, how you pay tax. If you're literally starting out and if you don't think, if you don't plan, if there's no strategy in place, you are going to be in a tough spot.
100%. And that's why you just have to decide. If you want a smaller operation, that's something that you can make happen. If you want a larger operation, that's also something that you can make happen. Either way, though, you're going to need operators like Matt and myself.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you're interested in some of the techniques that we discuss in these conversations, you should shoot us a message at Company Growth Partner. We'll discuss your business.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think it's worth noting that, like, we've also seen with our clients, especially being focused on coaching clients in particular and their digital marketing efforts, we've seen that their consumption of the competition's content often can be a very distracting thing, right? I think that's worth discussing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So one of the things I personally noticed is obviously there's a low-ish barrier of entry, right? Anyone could say, "Hey, I'm a coach," and then some of these beginner coaches, if they have the money and they invest in production, their content might look good, but in reality, if you look under the hood and if you really dissect like what they're trying to do, a lot of people are trying to sell you coaching that they learned like yesterday. That creates like this feeling of, oh yeah, I have a lot of competitors. No, you don't. Because, if you know your thing, like if you're truly an expert, guess what? People are going to notice that. And it's actually easier than ever to notice it because there's so many people trying to do things the exact same way because they think if they're going to make reels like Iman Gadzhi and Alex Ramosi, everyone is going to listen to them. But guess what happens then? If everyone sounds the same, how on earth are you going to decide, who to work with, right? So
Yeah.
that's why you have to stay true to yourself because otherwise, you're going to be in a weird spot.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that we at Company Growth Partner have worked with coaching clients who were just starting out in building their coaching business and found really early success in part because of their willingness to stick to their own unique way of doing things. It was when we watched those clients start to make decisions based on how their competitors were doing things that oftentimes we saw things go awry because consistency, like we keep saying, is key, and also honesty is super useful. And if you're in the coaching business, it is inundated with people who are just copying other people. So if you've got your own version of it, you should definitely highlight that.
Let me tell you a crazy story about how this actually pans out. Okay. So one of the coaches we worked with, he really looked up to a coach who actually learned from someone who has a lot of funnel experience. But guess what? Everything he's done up to this point was based on trends around webinar funnels and like early, like 2015, 2016 funnel trends. And when those stopped working, everything got turned off. And this guy literally lives off of back-end offers and the audience he managed to build up in those like 2015, 2016, 2017 period. And guess what? If you have a look at his ad library, he has absolutely nothing running because he doesn't know what to run. Right? So you better be careful who you copy, because that person might have a lot of followers, but those followers might have been garnered like 5 years ago. And now that person actually has zero strategy in place. And if you start copying him, oh boy, you're going to be in a tough spot. Why? Because you're art and you don't see the science, right? We talked about this before. And when you're not seeing things on the funnel side, you might think, oh yeah, he's super successful. In reality, he might be not, but he's really good at hiding it.
Right. I mean, that's the reality too. A lot of people in the coaching business are actually just very, very good salespeople. They're very good frontmen. They're very good voices and faces. So if you are somebody who is finding success with your clients, sticking to that message, the truth of the work that you do, I mean, as a branding human, that's often the advice that I'll give these clients we work with, is the best that we can stick to the success that you're finding with the actual clients you're working with and how it is that you're finding that success and what's special about that. That's, I mean, to me, that's more interesting.
Oh yeah. And I mean, honestly, like probably the biggest issue in the coaching space right now is that there's a lot of raw, there's a lot of selling and there's no fulfillment.
Right.
So if you just take care of fulfillment, right? If your offer actually does what it promises to do, you already won. And you know, it's only a matter of months or maybe like a year or two until people realize, oh shit, you're the real deal, not those guys with a lot of followers, because maybe they're selling crap.
Exactly. It might not be overnight, as some people might suggest they can make happen, but the following that you will build will be somebody, you know, it'll be a following built on people that are actually invested in what you're actually doing and not just a hot tagline. I think that's huge for our clients.
Yeah. People are looking for the real deal, guys. Like, you know, anyone who has like any type of, you know, business acumen, like they're going to look at your offer and they're going to be like, okay, cool. What am I buying here?
100%. Things are crazy right now. People are very much looking for opportunities to connect with coaches, to find communities. They're absolutely looking, but they're also petrified and they're watching their pocketbooks closely. So to think that they won't ask you if you're capable of offering the service that they're paying for, well, that's just not going to happen.
Not right now.
No, not right now.
Yeah.
I think it's also worth noting too that like when we're coaching our coaching clients on their content and how they're building any content that they're sharing, we will almost always discuss honesty before we talk about the quality of the content in terms of its visual or audio quality or anything like that. We'll talk about the honesty of the message. We'll talk about the story and the honesty of the story of the message and how it's all carried throughout the brand of all of it. But also, we will always suggest that the higher the quality, the better the content. So if we can get the honesty dialed in, if we can get the story dialed in, and then we can take the quality of the content and amp that up just a little bit, then we have something that sings. And that's almost always my goal when I start working with any of our clients.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the other side of the story is, you know, from the data perspective, is there's so much content out there. You can watch, like, I'm being real, guys. Like, you can watch a 2-hour, 3-hour long podcast episode, and then it's all bullshit. It's all surface level stuff. And people want to connect with other individuals. Like, you know, people are craving for new ideas and new ways of living their lives. That's why a lot of these, you know, off the grid videos are doing so well, because some people are really into that stuff because they're looking for alternatives.
It's an interesting time for coaches to be building coaching businesses because, to your point, audiences are hungry for new ideas. They're looking for community. They're looking for guidance. I think that's super interesting. I think it's also worth noting, and you've got this note here in terms of how we wanted to discuss this stuff. It's worth noting that it is actually easier right now, you've said this before, Matt, to scale than ever, so long as these coaches are genuine, honest, and are willing to bring actual value.
So the idea is that currently in the USA, there's a massive gap on the market, on the ideology market. People are looking for something that can unanimously hold people together, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Without any category, whatever, right? And then if you can provide that for people, right? If you provide a community that holds a certain demographic segment together, whether you're targeting women or men or whatever your thing is, right? Like, you can help a lot of people. You can literally save families. Like, no joke. Like,
oh yeah, we've seen it. We've seen coaches take people's lives and turn them around 100%, and then build successful businesses off of that story. And that, to me, is what's interesting about this segment of business.
And again, guys, like, just being absolutely freaking real. Okay, there was a coaching business that we helped, and we came in, and when we started taking operations over, we went from $100,000 per month. Over the course of 4 months, we scaled the business to $300,000 per month. That was like the best month, like, lifetime for the business. Okay, while we were doing that, we were preventing several suicide attempts. Like, real talk.
Oh yeah. With the clients, like, not anybody in the business, but with the clients of this coach. This coach's clients were absolutely struggling with suicidal ideation, and then explaining that their journey with this coach and their fitness journey and the success they were finding in life was totally helping them alleviate those symptoms. I mean, it's really amazing.
Depending on like what you're doing the coaching on, like that's the impact you can make. So it's not only about the money, and I'm sure you know that. It's also about helping people, because there's a real issue right now with not only identity, but people are having problems in their lives, and sometimes they don't really know who to go to, right? So you're actually doing people a service, and that's why I feel if you're being genuine, you're going to do well.
100%. And if you are out there, if you're running a coaching business and you're finding success and changing people's lives, but you're looking to take that success and express it to a larger audience, please send us a message. We would love to discuss your business at Company Growth Partner, right, Matt?
Send us a message right now.